This is a short bite episode of Homeschool Together. Hello and welcome back to Homeschool Together Short Bite Edition. Thanks so much for joining us. Today we are, Ariel, can you believe it? Can you believe it? We are reviewing curriculum for our 3.5-year-old. We are doing the Get the Ready for the Code, which is the primer to the Explode the Code.
Right, this is a pre-reading curriculum.
Yeah, so this
is
the first book in the Get Ready for the Code series. This is teaching you basic letter sounds, basic writing of the letters. This is super rudimentary. Probably the earliest thing you can do. We have enjoyed the Explode the Code with our daughter as a kind of a reviewing mechanism after we finish an all about reading episode or a series of the curriculum. Whenever we finish that, we like to follow up with Explode the Code as kind of like and we've also been doing the Beyond the Code as well as kind of like a review and kind of a cool down out of the all about reading episode. We liked it so much that we said, hey, let's see if there's something for our youngest to begin to do. And we went ahead and did that. We went ahead and bought the workbook, the first one.
Yeah,
it's how much are they going for right now? I mean, like $9 or $8 or something. They're super cheap.
Yeah, the first book, it's $8.25 on Rainbow Resources. It's so affordable, and I don't remember how many pages it is exactly, but
it's like 80 or 90 pages. I think they're always like somewhere in that range. And what this does is basically the first book is book A, right? And how many books are in the primer series?
So it's just ABC.
ABC. And so the first book here, we covered about, I think, 10 to 12 letters. Just your classic first letters. I think we started with F, the letter F. And basically it was really fun because I got to sit down and say, okay, it's time for your reading book. And she just loves the fact that she has her own reading book.
Yeah.
She sees her sister doing all her workbooks and all her activities. And she's like, Daddy, I want one too. And so she was super excited. So we went ahead and printed. I think we went ahead and got the book and we were able to run through it. Very simple. Starts off with basically a page where it talks about, what is different in these images. And it'll show fish and faces and foxes and triangles. And so it's associating letters with the sounds. Mm-hmm. And so she's circling the one that's wrong or they're circling the one that's different. Super easy thing to do. And she's about 3.5, almost 4 now. She's going to be 4.
She's going to be 4 in like 3 months. So, absolutely. I mean, she's still solidly in the 3.5 zone.
And then it goes into like the act of, actually writing the letter and how do you write tracing over the letters. There's a lot of following inside the line activities, connecting the letter F to a fish. And so when you're doing the book and you say this is the letter F, or if you're a phonics heavy family, you don't even say the name of the letter. Yeah. You say this is the F sound.
Right.
And what is it connecting to? And you point to it and say, what is that? And she'll be like, oh, that's a fish. I go, oh, do you hear? Fish. And she starts repeating fish. Fish.
Yeah, she's like really good. You like there's also some parts here recognizing between the lower and upper case of the letter.
It does introduce both upper and lower case letters, and also it'll have another activity where like it'll have a bunch of letters in a row, and it'll have like the F is your letter for the whatever section you're doing. So it'll have S, F, B, F, F, and she has to circle the letters that match the F or the F sound.
Yeah.
And
she's really good at it.
She was really good. She loved it. And then they have some coloring activities where you have to color in the shapes of an animal or, some type of scene that have everything's kind of segmented out in different shapes. And they have letters inside of them, both capital and lowercase. Mm-hmm. And she has to color those in. So it's really simple. And that's just a page. A really fun one that you get to do. I didn't really know what to do on the first time I did it, but then I kind of realized what it was. It has all these images that start with F. And what you've got to do is say, start with the fish and go to the fence. And she's got to draw a line to the fence. And then from the fence, go to the football. And then she's got to go and find that. So really just practicing her handwriting and listening to, actions that I'm giving her, and then she goes ahead and does that. And then it gets into, right, you can see here she has to trace some letters, and she has to trace the letter F, follow inside the lines. It wasn't a free writing one until you get to like basically the end of the F section where she has to actually free write an F, and you can see there's some struggle in there.
Yeah, but she's doing it, man. 3.5. I'm impressed.
But she's doing it, and she's following the actions and the directions, and it's really cool. This is one I really like. you have the letter F, and you have the two images, and one's a bell and one's a fork, and she has to figure out which, picture starts with the letter F, and she has to say bell, no, fork, fork, oh, fork, and then she'll circle it.
Yeah, she's really good at that one.
Yeah, she really likes it.
She really digs it.
And so that's basically the flow between, every single section, and then they go into maybe one more pages, and then they go ahead and introduce another letter. And I think it was like the letter B, I think was that letter. Yeah, the next one was B. So it went from F into B, and it's about 8 or 9 pages in a section.
Mm-hmm. So you could do it over a few days, and that's what we've done. We haven't done them all like a whole letter in one day.
I found her stamina was about 2 to 3 pages.
Yeah.
And I could do that in about 10 to 15 minutes.
And she might be a little bit younger than what they were intending for, but for her, she really saw her sister getting to do her reading and her math, and she wanted her own thing. She was not happy that she didn't have her own thing to do. So we thought, well, we'll get this. If she's not ready for it, then, we'll put it aside. But she was asking for it. So we're like, well, okay. And she's actually really loved it. We're really happy for $8.25. I mean, this is great.
The other thing too is that we send her to the preschool twice a week, and they also do letters as well there. Mm-hmm. And so she's already been exposed to a lot of letters and numbers, and we get activity sheets that are sent home that she did, and activities and around the letter of the week, and we kind of know that she's already being exposed to that stuff. So we felt like she has a desire for it. She's asking for it. They're kind of doing it at her preschool. Let's go ahead and get her a little bit of a workbook. We're doing this along with the Blossom and Root curriculum that
Early Years Volume 2.
Volume 2 that we are on. We're enjoying that as well. So we got kind of like a loose curriculum for her. When I kind of do it like a couple days a week. I don't do it every single day. I don't overload her at all.
Yeah, it's usually when she asks for it because she's like, Daddy, sister doing her workbook.
And typically I'm doing it on the days where she's home with us, and we have our longer, freer days, our Monday, Wednesday, Friday days, which is our homeschool days that are more intense.
Yeah, because we don't have our parent partnership or preschool.
We're not at the parent partnership, and the little one is not at the preschool. And so therefore I need something that I can do with her while my older one is doing, some other workbook, or I'm like, hey, go do your addition and subtraction problems in your workbook while I do this stuff here with your sister, and I'm going to do Blossom and Root with her. So I need you to go do those activity books over here while I work over here with her. And I found that to be very, very helpful and useful. So we have been enjoying it. That is the Get Ready for the Code. So it's the primer to the Explode the Code. And we are doing series book A. And so we have been enjoying it. And I think we just finished, and she did really well. And I think we're going to move on to book 2 and just keep it going.
Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook, and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time,
happy homeschooling!